So today we're going to get into tithing. It is biblical. Well, firstly, I want to preface this. I want to say this. Firstly, I do understand that there are some people out there, some Christians out there, that they are weary. Okay, they worry about where the tithe money is going to go to and how it's being distributed and all these things. And I would, the same thing, right? We should know, firstly, we should know where the tithe money is going. We should know how the tithe money is being distributed. We should know these things. And if your church, whatever church you are, whatever denomination it is, your church should tell you where these things are going to, because it keeps them accountable. It keeps the leadership accountable. You don't want to just give money and then they're going to spend it with, they're going to spend it on things that they shouldn't spend it on, and they're going to be irresponsible with it. That should not be happening. There are many churches out there, many prosperity gospel churches out there that are making millions and millions of money because they are fooling their congregation and telling them to tithe, and it's actually going to them. It's not going to evangelism. It's not going to different missions and things like that. And that is a bad thing. Okay. I think it's a Lakewood Church. Was it Lakewood Church where Joel Osteen? Yeah. These, again, to each their own. I wouldn't tithe there. Personally, I would not. Okay? I would. Anyways, if you guys are going to tithe, get educated about it. But let's continue. The strongest argument is that, number one, tithing existed before Sinai. Number two, Jesus explicitly recognized tithing while condemning hypocrisy. Okay, remember this. Number three, the New Testament continues the practice or the principle that those who minister in spiritual things should be supported financially or materially. Okay. Number four, Hebrews connect Abraham's tithe to Melchizedek and then directly connects Melchizedek to Christ. And that's very important. And you guys will see why after I pick my eyelid, because there's something in my eye. And number five, none of the common anti-tithe passages actually say do not tithe. None of them. Okay? Now let me get back to picking my eyelid. And then we can get to, if we go to Genesis 14, let's unsheathe real quickly. Genesis 14. Oops, where am I? Genesis 14. Sometimes, I do so many of these videos that I get brain fart. Is that what it is? Or brain fog? I think it's brain fog, right? I said brain fart because it sounds funny. Genesis 14, starting from verse 18, it says there, and Melchizedek, we all know who this is, and Melchizedek, king of Salem, type of Christ, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High, and he blessed him and said, Blessed be Abram of the Most High God, possessor of heaven and earth, and blessed be the Most High God, which hath delivered thine enemies into thy hand, and he gave him tithes of all. So Abraham tithed to Melchizedek hundreds of years before Moses even existed. Hundreds of years before Levi even existed. Hundreds of years before the sanctuary system even existed here on earth. Hundreds of years before the ceremonial law became a thing here on earth. This is very important because an argument sometimes goes like this. We shouldn't tithe. Okay, tithing belonged to the Mosaic law. So when the Mosaic law or Mosaic system ended, tithing ended. What happened to my thing here? That's usually how it goes, how the argument goes. Okay? That tithing is tied to the Mosaic law, and since the Mosaic law is no longer binding, we no longer have to tithe. But Abraham's tithe predated that system. Let's go to Genesis 28. Excuse me, Genesis 28, starting from verse 20. Ooh, I sound a little deeper, more manly. Genesis 28, starting from verse 20. And Jacob vowed a vow, saying, if God will be with me and will keep me in this way that I go, and will give me bread to eat and raiment to put on, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then shall the Lord be my God. Now watch this. And this stone, which I have set for a pillar, shall be God's house. And of all that thou shalt give me, I will surely give the 10th unto thee. The 10th unto thee. 10th, tithe, 10%, tithe. Okay? So that, right, this is Jacob. Okay? Again, this is before Sinai, Jacob, before Moses. So although the Mosaic covenant later regulated tithing, Scripture did not originate the concept with Moses. Concept originated before that. Tithing was already there before Moses, before the sacrificial system, before the Levitical priesthood, before the Mosaic law. Jesus explicitly spoke positively about tithing. In Matthew 23, let's go to Matthew 23 real quickly. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye pay tithe of mint and anise, I think this is what that is, and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matter of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith. These ought ye to have done, and not to leave the other undone. Notice that Jesus did not say, you tithe, but tithing doesn't matter. It didn't say that. He said, you should practice justice, practice mercy, practice faith, and you should not leave the other undone. It's a whole everything. Do everything, including tithe. Look what it says in Luke 11 and verse 42. It says there, but woe unto you, Pharisees, for ye tithe mint and rue, and all manner of herbs, and pass over judgment and the love of God. These ought ye to have done, and not to leave the other undone. Same thing. He wants them to do all those things, including tithing. Same thing. Christ tells them they were right to tithe, but wrong to substitute meticulous giving for love, justice, and genuine godliness. Matthew 23 by itself does not settle every question about the new covenant practice of tithing, but it does establish something very important. Jesus did not condemn tithing as a bad or merely legalistic practice. Okay, the question then becomes whether the New Testament later abolishes tithing. And there is no passage that explicitly says tithing is now abolished. If you go to Hebrews 7, this is very important. Hebrews discusses tithing at length, written specifically to explain what changed between the old priesthood and Christ's priesthood. For this Melchizedek, king of Salem, priest of the Most High, who met Abraham returning from the slaughter of the kings and blessed them, to whom also Abraham gave a tenth, that is a tithe, part of all, first being by interpretation king of righteousness, and after that also king of Salem, which is king of peace. Abraham's tithe is intentionally brought into this discussion. If you go to verse 4, now consider how great this man was, unto whom even the patriarch Abraham gave a tenth. Okay, the tenth of the spoils. Okay, the author actually tells the reader here to consider Abraham giving a tenth to Melchizedek. Let's go to verse 5. And verily they that are of the sons of Levi, who receive the office of the priesthood, have a commandment to take tithes of the people according to the law, that is, of their brethren, though they come out of the loins of Abraham. So then Hebrews distinguishes the Levitical tithe. Look at the distinction. Abraham tithe to Melchizedek. And then later, the Levites received tithe under the Mosaic legislation, Mosaic law. So tithing itself and the Levitical system of collection or for collecting tithes are not exactly the same thing. But he whose descent is not counted from them received tithes of Abraham and blessed him that had the promises. Okay, Melchizedek was not a Levite, but he received tithe. That alone demonstrates that receiving tithe is not inherently dependent upon the Levitical priesthood or the Mosaic law, whatever the case may be. Take a look what happens in verse 8. And here, men that die receive tithes. Men that die receive tithes, but there he receiveth them, of whom it is witnessed that he liveth. Hebrews contrasts mortal priests with the Melchizedek figure whose priesthood points to Christ. That makes it difficult to simply to dismiss the entire concept of tithing as something that belonged only to the Levites or to Levi. Hebrews 7 does not explicitly command Christians to tithe. Rather, what it's doing is it establishes theological continuity between Abraham, Melchizedek, and Christ. Paul teaches that gospel ministers should be supported, and how are they going to be supported? Those who are ministers of the gospel should be getting support, because if they're not getting support, if they're doing this full time and they're not getting paid, now again, you shouldn't, the gospel is not to be paid for, okay? But the ministers do the work, and so they should be supported, whether it's what a lot of people do. There's a lot of people out there that view our videos, and they know what we're going through. They know that we live in this RV, and a lot of them, what they do is they give us things like things that they don't use anymore. Someone gave us an expansion battery for our Blue Yeti 300 Apex 300. Gave us an expansion battery, and we use that to this day. These are things that are very valuable to us. It doesn't have, you guys don't have to send us money or anything like that, but things like that, a battery expansion, expandable batteries from Blue Yeti that we're able to use. Someone had given us solar panels. Okay, had donated solar panels. Brother Daniel, who donated solar panels. Someone had given us groceries before, because they know that we're struggling and we're traveling. And we traveled to Las Vegas, and they found out that we are in need of certain things. The next day, he went and bought us some groceries. These are very much appreciated. Okay, these are very much appreciated, and these are things that the ministers do need. Some ministers are in need. Some ministers are doing a lot of the work and are not getting paid to do the work. They're not charging anything. Like we don't charge anything to go and preach at your church. We'll take a love offering. That would be great, But otherwise, we don't charge to preach the gospel at your church, at other churches. So yes, gospel ministers should be supported. Okay, gospel ministers should be supported. If we go to 1 Corinthians 9 and verse 7, where's 1 Corinthians 9 and verse 7, it says, who goeth a warfare anytime at his own charge or charges? Who planteth a vineyard and eateth not of the fruit thereof? Or who feedeth a flock and eateth not of the milk of the flock? Paul's point, very straightforward. A person laboring in a work has a legitimate right to receive support from that work. The people who are, now I'm not saying go and, sell $200 VIP tickets. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that at all. Please don't do that. There might be some ministers that will do that. I don't believe in that. Okay, I don't believe in that. So again, 1 Corinthians 9. Now let's go to verse 9 now. For it is written in the law of Moses, thou shalt not muzzle the mouth of the ox that treadeth out the corn. Doth God take care of for oxen? Of course. Of course. Verse 11 now it says, if we have sown unto you spiritual things, is it a great thing if we shall reap your carnal things? Spiritual ministry may legitimately receive material support or even financial support. For us, material support is even better because, again, like we needed solar panels. Someone gave us solar panels. We needed a laptop. Someone gave us a laptop. We needed an expansion battery. I mean, actually, I wasn't even asking for expansion battery, but someone gave us a Blue Yeti expansion battery for our Apex 300, which is very, very useful. These are things that are invaluable to us. Is that the word? Or very valuable? I don't know what the word is. It means, what I'm trying to say is these are things that we use on a daily basis, and we are thankful and glad for them. Do ye not know that they which minister about holy things live off the things of the temple, and they which wait at the altar are partakers with the altar? Even so hath the Lord ordained that they which preach the gospel should live of the gospel. Now, I'm not talking about prosperity gospel, okay? Because there's many ministers out there that are milking their congregation so that they can get millions of dollars. I know many ministries like this. They are milking their congregation and their audience and even their online audience in order for them to get the support needed for them to do whatever they want to do. And some of those things are even unnecessary to do. Having 2-3 private jets for what? What do you need 3 private jets for? What do you need 6,000 Armani suits? Why do you need that? You guys see me with rocking this all day long, every day, every week, because this is the only shirt I have. No, I'm just joking. This is not the only shirt I have. But there's nothing wrong with having 5 shirts only. There's nothing wrong with having only 3 suits. H&M. Nothing wrong with that. You don't have to get Armani top-of-the-line suits. What on earth? Jesus Christ did not have Louis Vuitton robes, all right? Jesus Christ probably had a regular robe. He did not have Louis Vuitton robe, all right? Oh, my. So, let's read this over again. Hold on. If we have sown unto you spiritual things, do ye not know that they which minister about holy things live off the things of the temple, and they which wait at the altar are partakers with the altar? Even so hath the Lord ordained that they which preach the gospel should live of the gospel. They which preach the gospel should live of the gospel. So the same thing here should be, when it says even so, should be the same thing here. Even so, those preaching the gospel should be supported also. He deliberately establishes a parallel principle of financial support to those who minister to others and preach the gospel. Again, naturally, this would be the tithing principle. Paul even says this in 1 Timothy. Let's go to 1 Timothy 5 real quickly. This is what Paul even says, 1 Timothy 5, verse 17 through 18. It says, "Let the elders that rule well be counted worthy of double honor, especially they who labor in the word and doctrine. For the scripture saith, Thou shalt not muzzle the ox that treadeth out the corn, and the laborer is worthy of his reward." Hope that makes sense. So, pastors out there, I mean, of course, there are many bad apples, okay, out there, but there are pastors out there that are working hard for the congregation and working hard to make sure that the congregation is saved, or at the very least, that the congregation, that the pastor is working hard to allow for the congregation to have the best chance at salvation. There are pastors out there working hard for this. And it's a shame, one of my other, we've had 3 pastors here at the church. The first pastor that was here at the church, the first pastor that was pastoring me when I became a Christian here, that first pastor that I've met here at this church, he drove a 2006 Dodge Neon stick shift rust bucket. I believe it was 2006. I'm not sure what the year was, but I believe it was around there, 2006, 2007. Stick shift, though, manual. Awesome for him. I love manual cars. But the brother was driving around a 2006 Dodge Neon. Okay? 2006 Dodge Neon, not a Malibu, not a not a Camry, not a 2020, not the latest Camry, 2026 Camry or Malibu or whatever the case may be, or Cruise, Hyundai. Nothing new. It's a 2006 Dodge Neon. And it might have been just about the ugliest color in the world. Okay, dark green. And it's not even the rich dark green. You guys know the dark green I'm talking about. The bland dark green. It's like, ugh, that. And the pastor here was driving that around. And this pastor was a hard worker. He had to wake up 2 a.m. in the morning. Someone calls, and someone got into an accident or something, and they call it 2 a.m. in the morning. They call the pastor 2 a.m. in the morning. Pastor has to get up and go and pray with that man, with whoever it is that needs prayer. Someone goes to the hospital at 3 a.m. in the morning. Pastor gets a phone call. The pastor has to go and pray with that person who has to go to the hospital at 3 a.m. in the morning. There's a dispute between two members in the church. Pastor has to go and figure out the disputes. And sometimes these disputes can be very challenging. Pastors, good pastors, they are hard workers, and they need support. Luke 10 and verse 7. And in the same house remain, eating and drinking such things as they give, for the laborer is worthy of his hire. Go not from house to house. So the laborer is worthy of his hire. Matthew 10 and verse 10. Well, starting from verse 9, provide neither gold, nor silver, nor brass, nor purses, nor scrip for you for your journey, neither two coats, neither shoes. So talking to the disciples who were supposed to do this mission, nor yet staves, for the workman is worthy of his meat. Those working for the gospel legitimately receives support. Those working for the gospel need to be supported from those who benefit from the gospel. And I'm not even talking about medical missionary work. I'm just talking about the gospel. Imagine the medical missionary workers, those who actually do the physical work of the gospel. The physical work of the gospel. And that's why Jesus Christ did both spiritual and physical work. He was a medical missionary. Jesus Christ. He did a lot more healing than he did preaching. Jesus Christ. Those who do medical missionary work, I'm not talking about actual doctors that do drugs and all these things. No, I'm talking about herbal, naturopath, herbalists, these types of people with natural remedies. These medical missionary workers need our support. How much more do they need our support? How much more do they need our support? They need support. Otherwise, the money's not just gonna out of nowhere. God doesn't do it. He could do that. He could just give you money. He could do that. But he doesn't do that. He doesn't typically do that. You know why? Because he wants all of us to support each other. So if I'm a medical missionary worker in training and I come to you and I give you the medicine that you need, and those medicines cost $150 or $200, sometimes even $300, I give you the natural remedies, I give you a whole program that costs $300, $300, $400, $500, give you a whole program, and I don't charge you nothing. How long can I do that? The money's not just going to magically appear in my bank account. It could. God could do that, but he does not want us to be just taking and not giving. He does not want us to be lazy. He does not want us to be unhospitable. He wants us to be just like him. Freely give. I mean, you have received, freely give. It would be nice, right? Myself and my wife, we are trainees when it comes to medical missionary work. We're trying to get out there and help people out. Whoever needs help, we're trying to do that. But it is very challenging when we have to also pay for the herbs and pay for the food and pay for the things that is needed in order to give you a program, a 2-week program, right? And give you the whatever is needed, whether it's ashwagandha or this herb or nettles or whatever tea or sea moss or whatever, or poultice, charcoal, bentonite clay, all these things cost money. And if I'm giving it to you free of charge, where does that leave me, right? I'm not charging you anything. I'm not going to charge you to do any medical missionary work, but I would hope that someone would give a love offering for these things, because otherwise we will have nothing to work with. Do we understand this concept? So tithing and supporting ministries is very important. Maybe next time what we can do is we can go over the common verses that are used against tithing, and we are going to combat that. And we're gonna take a look at it, and we're going to investigate those common verses against tithing. Tithing is biblical. Pray about this. Ask God to impress upon you whether these things be so. Be like the Berean. Okay? Tithing supports, right? If you want to benefit from the church. And by the way, let me add this one thing. If you go to church, what do you go to church for? We know that church is supposed to be, this is the old cliche thing, church is supposed to be the hospital for sinners, right? But the thing is, even the doctors in the church are sinners as well, right? The doctors in this hospital, what I should say, are sinners as well, okay? So we go into the church because the church benefits us, because then we are with like-minded people that can help us in our walk with Christ, okay? The church is supposed to be together. We're supposed to work together. We're one body, the church. Okay? If you're outside of the church, but you're still a Christian, then you are not in an organized church. You are in a disorganized, unorganized church. Okay? So, number one, church benefits your walk. It should benefit your walk, because there are many people in the church that are like-minded, that might be on another level than you, and you might want to learn from that person and this person and that person. So there are many benefits when it comes to going into the church. Okay, there are many benefits. If you like those benefits, then support the church. Because if you don't support the church, then there would be no church. And if there's no church, then you will not have like-minded people around you. And then how is your walk with Christ? We all need to walk together. Everybody can help each other out, right? That's what the church is for. And if you like that, support it. If not, if you want to go to church on your own here, then go church on your own in your own basement, or whatever it is, whatever the case may be. Only problem with that is we are made to be social creatures. We need to socialize because we learn from each other. If you're just learning from yourself and by yourself, I mean, I'm sure that the Holy Spirit can also teach you. But if you don't have others as support system, and you don't see the others, other people's experiences and learn from them, borrowed experience, you're not going to grow very fast. You're going to grow very slow. So if you want the church and the benefits of the church, then support the church. If not, then make your own church with you and a friend of yours. And once you guys get big enough, in order for you to do potlucks and things like that, and other missionary things, go out there and evangelize, you need money to do that. And so you're going to tithe. So you're going to tithe in your own church. Okay? And that's pretty much what it is. Thank you all for coming by and for doing this with me. It's been fun. I actually like doing this. If you guys want to do next time debunking the verses against tithe, we can do that next time. For now, that's it for me. If you guys were blessed by this, please like and share. Please subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. Please consider also praying for this ministry and donating at www.sfp.center. We have Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Zelle, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, and Zelle. And we have all kinds of other things there. So if you guys want to support, all the support links are in the description box below. We do need it. We're in an RV. We don't have lots of money. We don't make a lot of money here on YouTube. But for those who want to support us, please support us, and we can continue doing what we're doing, and we can continue traveling around preaching the gospel in many different churches, because that's what we do. So please support. Again, all the support links are in the description box below. You guys can also become SFP channel members, and you guys can get perks also. All that is in the description box below. If you guys want to see all the perks and things like that, that's in the description box below. Thank you guys again. Praise God always. Peace. Avocado grease. I am out of here.
What's up, everybody? If you are blessed by this ministry and by this video, please like and share and consider subscribing. Also, please consider supporting by praying for this ministry and donating through our website, www.sfp.center, or PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, buy merch, or send a check. All support information will be in the description box below. You can also consider supporting by becoming an SFP channel member. We offer a members-only SFP Discord server where you can access exclusive chats with me and other members as well. You can also access extra videos, response videos, workout videos, health and country living videos, early access to content, and exclusive live streams. These are just side content for our supporters, just something that we can give back to those who have been partnering with us through donations. Again, the links are in the description box below. Ministry is hard work. Ministry is hard work, and we want to be able to continue this work, and your support would be truly appreciated and would be a huge help. Thank you all so much. Praise God always. Peace and avocado grease.